Well, we've seen the rise of mental health issues since the pandemic, definitely compounded by the impact of the pandemic. But this is quite a touchy subject, Dave, because how do you tell the difference between people who've got genuine issues, people who've got, I don't know, anxiety, depression, addiction issues, whatever it is? How do you tell the difference between people who've got genuine issues and people that are quite frankly jumping on the bandwagon a bit, making up or using it as an excuse for non-performance? Now, you've got 900 staff. It must be a minefield, that must be.
Yeah, and you know what? So we have people that we've trained to make sure they recognise where we need to. You know, we have a great HR team that obviously support all the employees. You know, we have a lot of dedicated telephone numbers that people can ring out, if they have got some challenges. And we try to make it an open forum. You know, we, as much as I've got, my fellow directors, we're kind of a flatline management structure. You know, every one of us are approachable in the organisation. You know, that stems from me. I remember throughout the pandemic and everyone was on lockdown. And I remember saying to HR, right, okay, I need the telephone numbers so I can start for the employees. And I started ringing them at weekends, which is...
you personally?
Yeah. So here's the part though, but I wasn't ringing them to speak about work, because I'd never ring them at weekends to speak about work. I wanted to ring them to see how they are at the weekends. So I'd ring them on a Saturday and Sunday, which I would never do. Never, ever do. Yeah. And some of them would start talking.
I'm hungover, Dave. Stop calling me.
I'm hanging. So, and it was more about, and then you have some of them would say to you, oh, well, they start talking about work. I said, no. I said, we can talk about work on Monday, Tuesday, next week. No problem at all. I said, I'm just ringing to see how you are. That's it. Nothing else. I'm not going to speak about work whatsoever. Just want to know you and your family, you're all keeping okay. If there's anything that we can do, just let us know. And it was one of them where I felt I could do it at the weekends, because actually I wasn't doing it as Dave, the CEO of a business. I was doing it as a concerned individual that just wanted to speak to people and make sure they was okay. Because I think throughout that period, we all had different thought patterns go through our mind. I know I was sitting there and thinking, different thought patterns and like, oh, what's going to happen here? And, so there are different challenges out in the marketplace. I think all we try to do is make it easy for people to talk about things. You're never going to stop everything. You're never going to save everybody, but you can just try to put everything out and give an environment where people feel comfortable to talk about things.
How have you had to change yourself in going from, you mentioned there, ringing people? You've got 900 staff now. You can't be ringing everyone. It's impossible to do that. So you must have had to make a bit of a transition from going from a national sales manager of X team to a CEO of X hundred people. What's been the challenges of that? Because most people are thinking, if someone said to me, I've had 20 staff at the most. If it went over 20, I'd literally have a heart attack. It seems that hard. Now, how do you go from the amount of people you've managed to go into 900? You said you're a custodian.
Yeah, so I don't manage the 900 staff myself. I've got an awesome team. If I look at and we are, as an organisation, we've done a lot of buy and builds over the years. Yeah. Matt Riley is a prolific acquisitions. Since 2001. So we've done a lot with his support. If I look at my team, half my team have come from M&A. So half of my direct reports are from mergers and acquisitions. So we've got some great people within the business. I've got a complete diverse board within what I look after, and they support. And I think it's just about getting out. Like last week, I'm trying to work out my journey. So we had customer service week last week. So 42 of the senior managers all sat down with everyone in customer services just to understand what they do for one moment. They do it every day for 50 weeks a year or whatever. We only did it for a moment. It starts off I started off in Nelson, Sheffield, Prudhoe, Newcastle, and just going around, just understanding what are the challenges that they've actually got. And I don't genuinely think that there's been a transition from national sales manager to managing director to CEO. I think for me, it kind of feels natural. Rightly or wrongly, I love work. I genuinely. And what is it that I love about work? I love people. I enjoy seeing us succeed at things. I enjoy what we do. And we have, we have conflicts with my directors and everything else, but that's good. I've got, as I said, it's a great team, and we kind of all support each other. And then with just, some of the acquisitions, they're coming on, and we're going to actually, how do we make sure that everyone feels part of it? And that's an interesting part.
How do you?
Yeah, well, I think that's an interest. So you get. I jokingly say this, but when you go into an organisation, people say they don't like change. And as I think the Mark Twain that says, it's not the strongest or the fastest that survive; it's those that are most adaptable to change. And sometimes you go into an organisation, you have people within that organisation that go, I don't like change. I don't like change. And they convince themselves how much they don't like change, that what they do is they end up leaving the organisation. Well, if that's not change, I don't know what is. You've completely left, so you've definitely changed. What we look to do is try to keep people as informed as we possibly can, try to keep them updated, and actually bring them in as part of the organisation.
How do you do that?
So I think a lot of that is over time, is about about how we market to them, how we speak to them, how we engage with them. I have engagement teams within our organisation that will sit down, understand what challenges they've got. If I look at some of the organisations that I've acquired over the last 15 years, a lot of the people are still with us now. My head of partners or director of partners, he came to. I think we acquired that business 13 years ago. I've got a lot of people that are still with us throughout that period, and that is purely about getting them to understand the journey that we're on and actually how we can create things brilliant together. Whenever we acquire a business, we always go in there with the Hovis, the best of both. How do we get what you do? Because we don't. Do you know what? It was we bought XLN 6 months ago, I think it was, give or take. And I remember walking across the bridge on, I can't remember what bridge, one of the bridges in London, walking towards the office. And it was the first time ever that I felt I was going to meet the new employees, and I felt it was my first day in work.
Really?
Yeah, it was.
Why?
I don't know what it was. It just felt like it was because I'm going into a new job. I'm going to see new people. So the moment we acquire businesses, I'm there that day. So I'm there. The very first that they see is me there that day. And then what I'll have is some of the team will be in some of our own offices, and we'll inform them. I'll put a video out so that they understand why we've done it. And what we look at is, why are we bringing these businesses together? Why are we doing it? What is the rationale for doing it? And it's about creating something really, really special. I joking. Well, I say it's joking. It's not. I've said to some of the team, I want to be that organisation whereby I was with a young lady last week on Customer Service Week, and she said her 15-year-old son's at school, looking to leave, and just got chatting. I said, Joe, wouldn't we be the awesome organisation that basically says, even if they wasn't quite where they need to be, that actually we can create employment for that person, so you can bring them through there. And I've said this to some of my team before. I said, wouldn't it be brilliant that that for your friends and family, or for your family, that there's a job for them? And they said, that's easy for you to say, Dave, because you've actually brought your son here, and your son now works for the organisation. so on that, but it's point proven, because the end of what do we want? Let's be fair, as parents, what do we want? We want our, first of all, we want our kids to do better than us.
Yeah.
So that's number one. And secondly, we want them to be employed. And actually, I want us to create an organisation where people go, I'm proud. I want people to come and work for us. I want them to go through that journey. And do you know what? I'm not saying don't worry if you're not that great at school, but there are different people in school. And actually, how do we bring people through the organisation? And we have so many people within our organisation where we've got generations of the people within the, so we've got the grandma, the mother, then and you just go, that to me is creating an organisation where people are kind of happy to work. I sat down with one of the ladies the other day, and she said something which I thought was really, really good, or I kind of like anyway. And she said, I don't even know where it came around. She said, I love working here. She said, I love working here.
She wanted a pay rise though.
She probably. And in all fairness, and here is mine, because I say that I not that I want a pay rise, but I love working here. Yeah. I love working, and it brought me back to I was playing golf with it was my brother-in-law's birthday. Playing golf, there was a 24-year-old kid who worked for a totally different organisation, and I got chatting to him, and he worked for Felixstowe Docks. And I said to him, well, actually, how are the strikes and everything else? We were chatting about that. He said, my problem is, he said, I love working. I said, I can't believe you just said that. I said, that is awesome. I said, you're the kind of employee that I want, that you love it. He just went, I love working there. These are the reasons why. And this young lady said exactly the same. She said, I love working here. And I think when you say that you love working somewhere, that's a little bit different from, I've got a job.
Much different,
and I didn't ask that thing, and I know that my team, they love working with. We all kind of we all have a love-hate relationship, I'm sure, but we all kind of really enjoy working there because we've got autonomy. We've got let's have, if we can do something, let's do it. And if we can't, let's have a work. How can we help us grow? How can we? Our mission is about how keeping Britain working. How do we everything we do? How does that relate to that as well? So I think for me, it's about looking after the employees.